Hey, what's going on? So I'm back before you. Just want to send some encouraging words to you. Um, One thing that God been dealing with me about is making progress while you going through a process. A lot of times God places in certain situations, you know what I'm saying, it's not for your bad. God never put you in a situation because you're bad, for your bad, and God never, you know what I'm saying, put you through a trial without good intentions. And when you going through a trial, God trying to get you somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And when you going through a trial, you shouldn't look at the trial. You should keep your eyes on Jesus because trials come to make you strong. When God put you in a trial, God trying to get whatever the lesson is that's in that trial, that area of your life, God is trying to perfect. You know what I'm saying? It might not be perfect, but it's being perfected. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, what God don't want you to do is pull yourself out of the trial, pull yourself out of the fire. God wants you to go stay in the fire and be purified that you may come out and be what he needs you to be in that area of your life. We are continuously being resurrected. We are continuously being born again. We are continuously, you know what I'm saying, being refined to the product of Christ, what God wants us to be. And when you're going through a trial, you know, a lot of times when you're going through a trial, it's not for you to talk to everybody about it because everybody can't understand what God is doing in your life. So when you go through a trial, pray and talk to God. And if He give you somebody to talk to, pray about that person. And if He tell you that He gave you that person to talk to, that's the only person you need to talk to about that trial because sometimes people have different agendas and sometimes people of God don't have a spiritual mind. I'm just being honest. And sometimes people of God don't evaluate, you know what I'm saying, don't evaluate what's really going on, or they don't pray to God and ask them to give them, hey, God, brother so and so is going through this. Hey, you know, can you give me something to help him with? Or you know what I'm saying? But a lot of time, um, people just because they know the scriptures, they want to blurt out something. You know what I'm saying? They want to have something to say, but and just because they want to blurt out scriptures, they can speak scriptures that's not even lining up with your situation. And then this thing you know, you being church hurt, or you feel like you can't go to nobody, or you feel like, you know what I'm saying, you isolate yourself or whatever, but you can't talk to everybody when you're going through a trial. You know what I'm saying? You can't talk to everybody because everybody, nah, that's just not, it's just not good. You know what I'm saying? But when you're going through a trial and you feel like you need somebody to talk to, pray to God. Pray that God send you somebody. But never pull yourself out the fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm a living witness. When you pull yourself out the fight, you're making a mistake. I made that mistake. You know, you know what I'm saying, pulled myself out of the fire and walked away from God. But I think God gave me a second chance. And by my mistakes, I'm more wiser now when I go through a trial. You know, trials are going to make you strong, not push you away from God. If it's anything, it's to push you to God. You know, but when you're going through a trial, be careful about, you know, how you feel about the things that's going on around you. The trial has nothing to do with things that's going on around you. You just in that situation. You just in that atmosphere. But the trial is always spiritual. It's always spiritual, but it happened in a natural state. But the trial is always spiritual. Um, you live in the flesh. You live in a physical world, but the trial is always spiritual. You know, and when you in that trial, instead of looking at your situation or looking at what you're going through, look look at what the spiritual lesson is, because the spiritual lesson have more value than what's going on around you. And when you sit down and you realize and you look at everything that you've been through, those are the same elements that the enemy used in your last trial that God brought you out of. Same elements. People, material things, spiritual things. You know what I'm saying? It just have a different form, a different appearance. Because the enemy can't use nothing but the things of this world when you in a trial. Look, you know what I'm saying? When you're going through a trial, just really look at what's going on. Ask God, what's the purpose of me being in this situation? What are you listening at? You're trying to get me to learn. What are the spiritual things that I need to see? And when you're going through a trial, never look at the person that the enemy is using in that trial. But just know that you have to keep your heart clean. If that person allowed God to use them, the enemy to use them, you let them deal with their situation with God. Keep your heart pure. Keep your heart pure during the whole time. And I'm going to tell you something. A day without reading your word is a day that you have been defeated by the enemy. I'm here to tell you. You know, but when you going through a trial, it's never to kill you or nothing like that. God say, God always there. And, you know, the same promises that he made Abraham and all of the patriots, he still stand by those. He still stand by those. What when you going through a trial, don't. And then another thing, when you go through a trial, don't get frustrated and stop making progress. Because when you stop making progress, they give the enemy more time to bound you up. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by progress, don't don't allow the enemy to stop you from spiritually growing. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna tell you the things that can stop you from spiritually growing is when you get your eyes on your situation, when you get malice in your heart, when you get hatred in your heart, when you get unforgiveness, when you get all these things that God talk about, all these spirits start attaching themselves to you. Spiritually, you become overweight because you have so many spirits that's attached to you because of you looking at your situation and everything that's in it instead of looking at God. You know what I'm saying? So the enemy will overweigh you with all this stuff. The enemy will overweigh you with all these spirits and stuff if he gets you to start looking at your situation instead of your God. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, there's a couple words to you, man. Hey, like I say, look to God. You know what I'm saying? And like I told you in the last one, hey, whatever you struggling with or whatever you have struggled with, you take it every time you go and pray, you take it to God. And that's how you gonna stay free. God bless you. Hope these words was encouraging to you. And I'll talk to you later. Yeah, I will.